and thanks for joining us today on City Talk. I'm Maria Serrao, and joining us as she does each and every month is our Mayor Barbara Ferraro. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us again today.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Well, as I always say, there's always so much going on to talk about.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
That is for sure. But we have to start out with our 50th anniversary because we have literally been celebrating this for a year. And in just a couple of weeks now, we will be at the Terranea Resort experiencing the anniversary itself. I can't wait. Let's talk about that. Let's start there.
Well, I feel like I fell into paradise when I married Charles Ferraro and moved out here. And little did I know that the city was brand new as well. It had only been in existence 3 years at that point in time.
Wow.
And then I served on the council before. On the 25th anniversary year, we celebrated with a gala at Los Verdes. And now here we are, 50 years of the city. And in some ways, we're still fighting the same battles.
Many of them.
For local control and control of our city as opposed to having the state manage it for us.
Right.
But it's so exciting. It's such a beautiful, beautiful place. Mm-hmm. And I really did fall into paradise. And it's so exciting to get to celebrate this at Terranea.
Yes.
That was something I worked on before that wasn't available on the 25th year. And now it's such an integral part of our community. Mm-hmm. It's such a great place for us to meet and gather. And we're so excited about all the people that have signed up to come because we filled up and sold out once. Right. And then had to open up another 100 tickets.
Right.
And
in the big room.
Yeah,
yeah,
the big room.
Yeah.
So, but it's really a marvelous place to live, and the celebration is just going to be wonderful.
You know, when we talk about celebrating 50 years, what do you remember most about when you just moved here as a resident? What do you remember most back then?
That I knew nothing about this place. I didn't know anybody. Charlie went back to work, and all of a sudden I was all by myself. But it was such a great place to land.
Right.
And the people were so wonderful, and his boss's wife took me under her wing and invited me to Las Madrecitas, and that became my jumping off point, so to speak. And then getting involved in the community and being on the planning commission. And I had minored in political science, majored in Spanish, and here I am now teaching Spanish and being on the mayor and being on the city council.
Right.
I've always loved being involved in a community, and this is such a great place. We have so many wonderful people that volunteer for all kinds of organizations in the cities, and it's just a marvelous place to be.
I have to agree with you. And then you said that the 25th anniversary was at Los Verdes?
Yes.
What was that event like?
Well, we honored John McTaggart then.
Okay.
And he was on the council for so many years. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, both he and Flo are gone now. But he was involved for more than 20 years. Probably he was a close second to Ken Dida, mm-hmm. who is fortunately still with us and will be honored at this gala.
It's going to be great.
Yes, it really is.
And you know, the thing about Ken and just talking to him is that being a city founder especially, and you brought this up earlier talking about there are certain principles and certain things that he's always fought for when the city began, you know, mm-hmm. and those are still things that as a council and as a city, I think all the residents still fight for and want in the city, just so it remains the way it is.
Yes.
Which is so important.
Yes, and now it's almost built out.
You're right.
There's so few lots even left, and the ones that are not great for building.
Right.
But it's still been managed in a way that we have our open spaces. And you know, I was on the council when we did our first purchase of land for open space, the Forestall project.
Interesting.
And now we have almost 1,500 acres that's been preserved as open space in perpetuity. And what a great place to be in that values open space. And we have trails through it, and so many people walk. It's a great place to walk and to be outside.
And then I'm sure you remember even Terranea coming into existence here, which took a long time. But I think one of the really important things is they wanted to keep everything pristine. They wanted the memory of marine land. They had events there about marine land. And even their plants are native to the area.
Yeah.
They really wanted to keep that, which I know was important to the city. Why was that?
Well, we didn't just want, first of all, we wanted to protect the views. And there wasn't a meeting that we had about Terranea that there wasn't somebody telling us how awful it was going to be for the community and for the city. And it was going to block views, and it was going to ruin the landscape. And none of that came to pass. You know, we asked them to install the native plant garden, and it's a beautiful place.
Beautiful, yes.
And also we were working with such a great group, the Lowe's, and there's not a better developer anywhere than the Lowe's. And they did such a marvelous job of putting it into the landscape.
Yes.
And being environmentally sensitive. And I personally worked on that for 5 years when I was on the council before. And no, maybe it was 8, and there were 5 more years after that.
Yeah.
Before it came into being. But once it did,
Yes, it was
wow.
amazing, right? Yeah.
And it still amazes me, just going in there, and it's so beautifully done.
Yes. Do you remember the first time you went there when it opened? You
Yes.
do. What was that like, and when was it?
Well, they had seating out in the patio of the motor court. And we sat there. I remember Larry Clark, I think, was mayor then. And it was just amazing. It really was. We had sort of a little ceremony out there in the courtyard, and then you could go and walk through the building. But it was so beautifully done, and so it looks brand new now.
Right.
And yet it's not anymore.
No, it's been there for quite a while, but we want to remind residents they can be there too if they hurry, because as you mentioned, it's selling out quick. But
yes, it is.
The gala will be on that
September 9th.
September 9th at 6 o'clock. So get there early, go out, and it's black tie, so buy yourself a great outfit like we will.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be fun, and join us, because really it's such a wonderful night. I'm so excited about it, because I know you are.
Yes, it really is going to be wonderful.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people that have signed up to come, signed up for tables. Ken Dida has his table.
It's going to be great.
And it is. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. And yet we still have a bit to go.
Just a bit, but we don't want to give away too many surprises, because there's going to be a lot of surprises that night. So get your tickets, get them early, and hopefully we will see them there.
Yeah.
And I know it's been such a busy summer. We had such an amazing event just 2 weeks ago with our sister city, Sakura City, Japan. They were here, they came here. We had 5 people from the city that were here, and they went to the Angels game to see Shohei Ohtani pitch and hit, and then they had a complete huge tour all around Rancho Palos Verdes, and then it culminated with our celebration for them here at City Hall. And it was really, as you know, it was such a it's such a bonding experience to share cultures with people. And I had asked them the last day we interviewed them, and they had their interpreter here, who was Emmanuel, who was wonderful. And I asked them, what was your favorite part of RPV? And really, almost everybody said either just the ocean, just seeing the ocean. They loved down by PVIC, of course, and the chapel, because those views are, again, we talk about the views here, so amazing.
Yeah.
And they're going to be coming back for the big event, but we're going to have 5 new people to host.
Yes, they have a much bigger council than we do.
A lot.
And so part of them came with the Mayor Pro Tem 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And then the next time, the mayor's coming.
That's right.
With 5 different people. And so we're so glad that they get to experience something different, but also to celebrate with us. That has been a really wonderful thing, because my husband and I have hosted over the years a lot of exchange students. And even back when I was in college, I had a brother from Austria. And when you get to know people as people,
Right.
you find out you're all the same, really. You're all wanting to achieve something. You're, for parents, it's their children who are the most important. You find out there are not very many differences. We are all trying to get to the same place sometime, and then just enjoy life and learn about each other. And I think that's one of the best ways to promote peace among nations. And I'll never forget when one of my daughters first came over from Serbia and said, "Wow, this is my room," and we thought our house was so small. And you just find out that you're all the same in the heart.
Right.
And so we're looking forward to having the rest of the council come.
It's going to be fun.
These are our special brothers and sisters that are coming to help celebrate.
They are. It's going to be great. Yeah. So that event was just, and Karina Banyalas was, once again, our deputy city manager. She's
phenomenal.
She is phenomenal. She outdid herself. She hosted, as you know, from start to finish. And on Sunday I said, "Are you sleeping all day today?" Because I don't think she got any sleep whatsoever, but really just an amazing job and such a great trip for them. So we're looking forward to the next set with their mayor.
Yeah.
And that's going to be fun, and they're going to be at the event, so it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. So yeah, it was great having them there, and I know that eventually they would want this council or the next council to reciprocate and go to Japan.
Yeah, I hope we can.
That would be great.
My husband and I went once a long time ago now, probably close to 25 years ago.
That's great.
And I'd love to be able to see more.
Yeah, I have a very good friend who loves it there. She goes all the time.
And since then, we actually hosted some students from Japan through Marymount at the time. So it would be nice if I intend to talk to Mr. Yu, who's in charge of the South Bay, UCLA South Bay now, and see if maybe we can arrange some kind of exchange.
That would be great. That would be great.
And I know they're going to continue the exchange with Miralest because that's what got it all started.
I was going to say, that's what really kicked it off.
Yeah.
It was great, yes. I loved it. In fact, we did that story, and it was just so much fun to see even the old pictures they still have on the walls of the exchange students coming in, and you just got a real feeling of what that was like for them to experience being in America for the first time, and how similar, even with the language barrier, and we even talked about that at the event so much, that it's such a small part of really just connecting with people. So that's what makes it fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
very much so. And, you know, to keep up with it being a busy, busy month upcoming, you have a big event called Run for Miles. Tell us about that. And it will be on the same day as our big gala. So that's going to be a very busy day.
Yes, well, Miles was a person from Rancho Palos Verdes. He passed away very young. He was in his 40s, and his widow and his son were at our meeting last night, and they wanted to do something for the city in his name. And he used to love to run on the paths and the trails in the city. And so they proposed having a fundraiser, and we decided to do it on the same day as the gala. And our city manager, Ara, is going to run, and all the money that they raise is going into the programs for the city and to maintain trails, and it's just such a wonderful thing for the family to do.
Such an amazing gift.
Yes, it really is. And so we're looking forward to that in the morning.
Yes, that's going to be a busy day.
Yeah.
And is that a 5, 10K or is that a?
Both.
Okay, yeah.
You can run either one,
Great.
or you can just walk
Keep
for a
going.
while.
Yeah, exactly. And just enjoy all the beauty around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I know that Miles, they ran over 60 marathons, and 20 of them were right here in Rancho Palos Verdes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And my husband used to do that, but not anymore.
Well,
in fact, he lost his wedding ring on one of the parkours.
Well, then he's definitely not allowed to go back anymore. Well, I'm sure you keep him busy doing many other things, so.
Yeah.
And
But you know, he enjoys it, the outdoors so much.
absolutely.
That he still plays golf. I mean, we have such a beautiful place
Absolutely.
to just run if you can, but walk and be outdoors and golf. We're so fortunate that we live in such a beautiful place.
And even when we were talking about Terranea and even Trump National Golf Course, you can walk both of those places.
Oh, yeah.
Not spend a dime and just enjoy the beauty of the area, which I love that about both of the venues.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
But there are paths,
Yes.
and there's no restrictions about walking along, and it's just, it was incorporated into the being of
Yes.
the places.
And they welcome it.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
I love that Terranea and Trump National have always said that the community is a part of them. And I just love that because it's welcoming.
Yeah.
You know, it's really welcoming because you've got people coming from all over the world for both, and yet they can meet somebody from right here in Rancho Palos Verdes that's probably there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And to finish off August, we have to remind you that we have another movie in the park.
Oh, yes. And you know, we just had our last concert in the park.
I know.
Last weekend, and that was such fun.
I wish we could do those every month.
I do too.
They're so much fun.
I'm going to work on that and
Okay.
see if we can't have maybe more than 3 next summer.
That would be great. Or even in the fall. I know that that's a little coming up a little quick, but I think they're just so much fun, and so many people come out for them.
Oh yeah, and bring their blankets and their
Yeah.
their chairs. And the last 2 concerts we had a dance floor.
Yes.
And people danced
Oh, they
the
were
whole
out there.
time.
Yeah.
You know, and the kids, there's something for them to do. They're jumpers, and they run around, and everybody's happy.
I know. Everybody's having a great time.
And really, it gives you a sense of just pure relaxation.
And I think we need that.
Oh, yeah.
We really need that, especially
Yeah.
now that summer's ending and fall is coming in and everybody's going back to school.
Yeah.
So you need those, yeah, including you,
Including
Mayor.
me.
No, when do you go back? You go back soon, or are you already back?
Well, technically, I've already been
Okay,
back
yeah.
for a work day. Next Monday is our first teacher meeting, And Tuesday, we'll work at our schools, and then Wednesday, the kids come for half a day. And Thursday's our first full day.
Here we go. Just
Next
keeps
week.
going.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it all.
Well, I guess it's because I like doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't really do all this stuff if you didn't like it.
Yeah. If you didn't love it, I think you love it all.
Yeah, I
Yes,
do.
yeah.
I was so happy to be back yesterday with the kid. It was freshman orientation, and the kids were coming in and out of the room, and it was just wonderful to be back.
That's an exciting time for them too, because they're moving from one grade to another, and you know, they're learning more, and their friends are all there, or maybe new friends, so it's always
Yeah.
a fun time.
Yeah. And they're so young when they're ninth graders, and they're so old when they're seniors.
Of course. Well, then they rule the school when you're a senior.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else that we left out that you wanted to mention?
Well, I just hope that people will be involved and come to the gala if they possibly can.
Yes.
And if not, just celebrate by going along the paths and the spaces in this beautiful place.
Absolutely. Because we've got so many of them in addition to the ones we talked about. There's PVIC, and I mean, there are just so many. Go to the city's website, rpvca.gov, because they're all listed, and you can kind of pick and choose where maybe you haven't been and just enjoy them.
And you know, we have overlooks that where if you just have a few minutes to stop and breathe and
breath.
look at the ocean, and somehow I can't ever imagine living somewhere where I can't see water.
Yes, we're very, very, very blessed, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mayor, as always, for being here and just sharing the month. And we will look forward to seeing you next month as well, and at the gala.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
So much going on, and you can participate and take part in whatever you want, a small piece, a big piece, but just appreciate. You know, even if you only stop in an overlook for 10 minutes, just enjoy the beauty that we are blessed to have in our area.
Absolutely. Very good. Well, thank you again for being here, and thank all
you.
of you for watching. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next month on City Talk.